Say we live in a residential neighborhood that is a slightly older neighborhood in the city of Toronto. It's in the West End. It's made up primarily of detached, semi-detached homes, and there's some concentration of apartment buildings, but primarily it's a housing that dominates it with retail shopping, and it's a very nice neighborhood.
A very residential area with lots of nice family homes. People take care of their gardens. A lot of community pride, community involvement. Lots of schools, and beautiful parks, and just a nice residential living area with lots of amenities.
Being unable to afford the basic necessities of life.
Lack of access to resources, whether it be financial or otherwise, that just causes a lower state of living.
A circumstance where an individual or a family do not have enough resources to properly support themselves or those around them, and have a daily challenge in making the ends meet.
Poverty is a state that people can get in when there isn't enough means to fulfill their desires.
Somebody has a hard time paying for just their living quarters and their food.
Not being able to provide for your basic necessities.
Substandard living conditions.
Is living within below the poverty guidelines.
It is that it's an unequal distribution of wealth. Sometimes mental illness causes poverty.
I think bad luck unfortunately causes poverty, but I also think it's a societal problem.
It's a lack of education, because they can't get a decent job.
Low access to anything, whether it's to education, to jobs.
When people don't have jobs. Basically the breakdown of the family and the society in general. Yeah.
Broken homes, meaning like maybe only one parent, or parents that are constantly arguing, or abusive relationships or something like that.
Crime, high taxes.
Crime.
The elderly who can't look after themselves.
Vandalism that we see, there's graffiti on garages and those sort of things. More directly, there's been convenience stores that have been robbed, and there's an area nearby that is a little more impoverished, and so there's drug trafficking that happens there, and I think it spills over into our neighborhood.
Single parent families, mothers that aren't able to work and yet have young children to support.
I live in Bloor West Village, a neighborhood known for its convenience and familial atmosphere. Growing up here, I've seen both sides of the tracks, both literally and figuratively. The area that I live in is sandwiched between a rough neighborhood with government housing and the affluent neighborhood of Babby Point. From this vantage point, I've been able to experience a life of luxury while at the same time witness the effects of poverty. Even though the situation I experience is not as extreme as that of Lee Allen Jones and Lloyd Newman, there are still similarities that I see between my neighborhood and the Ida B's. The most blatant example of this similarity has to do with the broken window theory. When I first moved to this house 12 years ago, everyone on my street had well-maintained homes, both in the front and in the back. However, not too long ago, people started tagging garages with graffiti in the laneway behind my street where residents park their cars. At first, homeowners tried to paint over this, but it gradually got to the point where people no longer bothered to cover up the blemishes and take care of their property. In Ghetto Life, Lee Allen's grandmother talked about how their neighborhood went through the same gradual decline as homes got increasingly unkept and uncared for. So even though the ghetto may seem like an intangible territory, it is closer than you think, and you can probably find some of it by looking just out your bedroom window.
Until it's my time to come. When it goes down, I'm dying young with the good ones. They call us thugs and hoodlums. Loyal to the streets like the Quran to Muslims. When it's war, we all ride, the whole hood comes.
The sky slopes for niggas with high hopes. Politician hand in your pocket trying to buy votes.